What if Luke just decided not to write the story? What if he said to himself, hey, there's plenty of people that are telling the Christmas story here and the story of Jesus and the gospel. I don't need to add my voice to it. What would we lose? We'd lose the entire gospel of Luke. We'd lose the entire book of Acts, the story of the Holy Spirit moving through the early church in the world. Hey, I'm Pastor Matt here with your Missionary Pathway Mission Insight, and I'm sitting in Target, and it's November, and it already is starting to feel like Christmas. I mean, we got the Christmas decorations around here and a whole rack of Christmas books. And, sometimes it's easy to think. I mean, we tell the same stories year after year from the same two Gospels, right? Matthew and Luke, we alternate. Sometimes a pastor gets crazy and he'll throw out John chapter 1. But you start to wonder, are these stories going to start to feel a little too familiar, maybe even old? I know that's kind of scary to say, but here's the reality. After my first few Christmases, maybe 4 or 5 years in, I started to wonder that question for myself. Like, are these stories, they're the same 4 stories. Is it going to feel new? Is it going to feel like the same old thing? And then I started opening those stories up in year 6 and 7, and now I'm on I have 17 Advents under my belt, 17 times telling these same stories. Now I'm stepping into my 18th, and you know what I've realized? The Christmas story always has something new. I'm reading the same stories, I'm reading the same details, and yet something new always comes out. The stories to me always feel fresh. And so that's why I thought it would be fun this year through the network to do something a little bit different. This year, I thought it would be fun for us to release some of those stories. And so we wrote a book called Real Christmas, Discovering the God Who Still Shows Up in Unexpected Places. Now, here's the thing. I'm walking through the book section here at Target. And sometimes when I walk through a book section like this and I think about writing a book, especially when there's a ton of Christmas books here, I ask myself the question, do we even need another book, especially another Christmas book? And then I was reading the opening chapter of Luke. In Luke's opening chapter, he says something really interesting. He says, many people had undertaken to tell an account of the story of Jesus, but he felt it was good to tell that story, to give an orderly account for Theophilus, his patron. And when I read that section, I started asking myself the question, man, what if Luke just decided not to write the story? What if he said to himself, hey, there's plenty of people that are telling the Christmas story here and the story of Jesus and the gospel. I don't need to add my voice to it. What would we lose? We'd lose the entire gospel of Luke. We'd lose the entire book of Acts, the story of the Holy Spirit moving through the early church in the world. We would lose so much because Luke didn't tell the story of how Jesus interacted with him and the world around him. And so when I read that, I was like, hey, you know what? It's not about selling a bunch of books or seeing Real Christmas here in the Target section. Really what it's about is being able to share the story, because these stories I've learned over the last 18 Advents, they're fresh every time. They have a new way of speaking into my life and the life of people in the churches that we've gotten to minister to in ways that can change and transform people. In fact, that's what's so cool about this, is that these stories, they can change your life, and then you can share those stories with somebody else. And you never know how you telling that story, even though many people have undertaken to tell that story, could change the way somebody not only sees Christmas, but they see Jesus. So this Christmas, our Missionary Pathway Mission Insight, I just wanted to share with you the Real Christmas book. And so here's the deal. Real Christmas, we're not trying to sell books. We're just sharing a story. And so you can download in the link below a link to a free chapter. And if you're a pastor or somebody that's working in ministry this Christmas season, things get busy. You think it gets busy out in the culture. It gets really busy in the church. And so I wanted to let you know that we've actually created 8 sermon series templates, or 8 sermon templates that you can use throughout this season that go along with the chapters in these books, but are just really a way to help you as you're preparing how to tell that story again. Because maybe it's your first Advent you're telling the story, or maybe it's your 18th or your 30th, whatever it may be. We just wanted to be able to say, here's a free resource to help you as you're telling the Christmas story. And I want to encourage you, it doesn't matter how many books may go on the shelf about Christmas. be willing to share the story, because you never know how you sharing that story could change somebody's life. So hey, if you want to check out a copy of Real Christmas, or you want some other resources to help you learn how to share the gospel in the places you live, work, learn, and play, then check out thekairosnetwork.com. You can click the links below to check out those resources. And of course, it's been a blast hanging out with you right here on Mission Insights.